Hi, this is Ed Ballum. I'm from Cygnus Business Media, staff writer, and we're here in Dallas at 2010 Expo, and we have Dr. Bryan Bledsoe here today. Dr. Bledsoe is an emergency physician in Midlothian, Texas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. He began an EMS service in 1974 as an EMT and attended one of the first paramedic schools in northern Texas. Dr. Bledsoe, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
Could you tell our viewers a little more about who you are and what you do?
Well, again, I'm an emergency physician, textbook author. Grew up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now I share time between here and University Medical Center and the University of Nevada School of Medicine in Las Vegas. And kind of EMS guy. I direct the EMS fellowship at the university, and this is kind of my life, I guess.
Kind of your life.
Kind of my life.
Well, certainly with that kind of background, you're well qualified to speak to some of the challenges that face EMS today.
Well, there might be people that argue with you, but it's all good.
It's all good. So what are some of the challenges today that we face?
Well, I think it's like the challenges that face everybody. It's the economy. EMS was already marginally reimbursed at best.
Right.
And when the economy plunders, the strain on EMS goes up. Even in Las Vegas, which has the worst unemployment in the country at 15.4%, we see more and more people arriving in the emergency department by ambulance, and we have ambulances queued up for a much longer period of time. The other thing, I think the big thing is who knows what Obamacare is going to bring. There's not much mention of EMS in Obamacare, and it's just unclear. And the prevailing problem in this country with EMS is we don't know who the hell we are. Are we public safety? Are we healthcare? Are we a hybrid? Well, the powers that be have manipulated that to say, well, you're public safety, you need to be funded by, ad valorem taxes or local, and then, from a public health standpoint, the people who fund EMS in the counties and the cities, so, no, you're public health, you need to be funded through the federal government, and so it's a situation where it's pretty much user funded, and who knows where it's going to go, and it comes down, when you look at the good EMS system, it really comes down at the most fundamental level as to what is the local populace willing to pay. You look at cities like Austin, they're willing to pay it. You look at my hometown of Fort Worth, they're not. And I think that's the big issue. The other issue continues to be related, and that is we tend to have an itinerant workforce. The salaries are so low that people can't stay in it, like myself. I mean, I loved EMS. If I could have made a decent living, I may still be doing it today. I was lucky, I had a degree and good grades, but you see so many people leaving, going into nursing or just outside, going to computer technology, and I think that's it. As long as we have this poorly paid, itinerant workforce, it's never going to mature like nursing and the other specialties have.
Right. Well, many small agencies pay less than $10 for, per hour in some cases, and then there's also the challenge of even volunteers. Recruiting volunteers is...
volunteers are important. There's parts of the country where we'll never be able to afford EMS, unless you have a socialized system like you see in Australia or some other places. And volunteers can be professional. The thing is, we need to support them. I mean, they have issues getting education. They have issues just in funding streams. There's some great volunteer services, but yeah, I mean, the joke is, a couple years ago, my daughter was running a mechanical bull in the Fort Worth stockyards. She was making $13 an hour. She was making more than the highest paid MedStar paramedic.
Right.
Things have gotten better over there. They've gotten some good management and such, but that's it. And there seems to be an endless list of people willing to work for nothing. A lot of it's because the educational process is so brief compared to nursing or respiratory therapy or something like that. It's an enigma. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go, actually. It can go well if it's organized, but EMS is so fragmented. I'm a firefighter, I'm a police officer, Right. Yeah, it's too bad there's not a unified voice.
Right. Do you see any way that can correct that in the future? I mean, can we become more cohesive and more unified in some way?
Oh, divine intervention? I really don't know. The fire department now 30 years into doing EMS, and you're starting to see a culture change there. I mean, for example, the fire chief here in Dallas was once an EMT student of mine in Fort Worth. And so we now got a group of leaders in the fire service who understand that much of what the fire department does is EMS. If you look at Clark County Fire Department in Las Vegas, over 70% of their runs are EMS. Only 3% in 2008 were active fires. Right. And if people are coming into the job expecting to do EMS as a major role, they do okay. If they come into the job wanting to fight fires, they're going to be horribly disillusioned. Right. And that has to happen first. You know, and it's a phenomenon you really don't see in other countries, because we're one of the few countries in the world where the fire service plays a role in EMS. Yes. You see it in Hong Kong and some other places. So it will get better. The organizations are still very fragmented. Mm-hmm. Membership in AMT has never been very significant. Texas, here we have almost 60,000 EMS providers. We've been through 3 EMS organizations in the 20, 30 years I've been involved with this, and the last one just went defunct. And so I don't know. I don't know how to explain the apathy or to deal with it.
Well, given those parameters, if you're looking into a crystal ball, what kinds of things do you see in the future for EMS?
Well, a couple of things are on the horizon, and there's actually an article in this month's EMS magazine about that, and that is with the accreditation of paramedic programs. It's slowly dragging EMS, kicking and screaming perhaps, mm-hmm. into this century, whereas they're requiring that the paramedic education programs be accredited. And with that, there are certain constraints that are necessary to bring the profession up, such as the program director, mm-hmm. you know, needs to have a bachelor's degree in something. Right. And they've even had to extend that out to allow that to happen. They're requiring that the programs be affiliated with a university, which is quite an issue. But there's a reason for it. There are tremendous resources in a university beyond the physical structure, the library, the support staff, and things of that nature. As that goes into play in 2011, 2012, that will help quite a bit, and it will shut down some of the EMS training programs that are moving them through as quick as they can. And I think if you kind of slow the flow mm-hmm. of people into those jobs, then I think the salaries will come up, and that's what you see in Canada or Australia. You become a paramedic or an ambulance officer in Australia, you may wait 9 years before an advanced life support position opens up, which you apply for, and then you take the training. Right now, you know, paramedics are a dime a dozen. In some services, all they want is a pulse right. and a patch, you know,
yeah. that's it. First responders, EMTBs,
yeah.
whatever they can find.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. But Dr. Bledsoe, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.